What is the fourth dimension? What is the fourth dimension? The shift is now moving us into the fourth dimension. And the shift is known as the ascension of the planet Earth from third dimensional reality to fifth dimensional reality. Some people say this is going on now. Others say this has already happened and we're just catching up with it as the humans on the planet. Either way, the shift is causing us to move now into the fourth dimension, where time is always present time, which is now. This is where our point of power is in the now, and it's important not to be reacting to the subconscious past experiences and beliefs, but to be constantly acting from a space of now. And the past isn't important. The present hasn't happened yet. We're creating it from this point of power in the now. Reality is flexible, changeable, and malleable. What was true a moment ago may be different now. Fourth dimensional reality does not adhere to rigid belief and structure. What does this remind you of? Dreams? In dreams, we can find ourselves 1 minute at school with all of our classmates, and the next minute we're in outer space with, some aliens or something. And that's just one example. It doesn't have to be linear, and reality is very flexible in dream time, which it also becomes more flexible and changeable in the fourth dimension. In third dimensional reality, again, we have to go from our house, walk to our car, get in our car, drive to where we're going, get out of our car, go into the building, etc. But in fourth dimensional reality, that we can take our consciousness and move it from this third dimensional reality into a higher reality or a different reality at will. But in fourth dimensional reality, daydreaming and going off into a different world is much more acceptable, commonplace, and even necessary. Allow yourself even to take the time to daydream, to meditate, to get into your other dimensions of reality at will, so that you're not so stuck in the linear 3D world. Mastery of thoughts and emotions is required in the fourth dimension. What happens is our thoughts create our reality. So as we move into the higher dimensions, we don't have the lag time that we have in the third dimension between our thinking and our creating reality. This was addressed in the movie The Secret when they talked about having some time in between thought and manifestation. I think they used the image of somebody thinking about an elephant in their apartment and then an elephant showing up in their apartment. And this really wouldn't work for most people. It's important to have a handle on your thoughts and be able to master the controlled thought process before you manifest something. Because if you think a horrible thought about somebody or something or yourself, and then that happens immediately without any downtime to correct it or any lag time in between to get your thoughts straight, you're going to create havoc all around you. Now, actually, we're already doing this in the third dimension, but we do get that time in between to correct ourselves, and we don't get the instant manifestation that happens in the higher dimensions. So use your third dimensional time to master your thoughts. This is so important, and this is why things like meditation and mindfulness are super important and helpful right now, so that you can learn to control your mind. Baggage and unprocessed emotion from the third dimensional experience must be released to master thought and emotion. Meditate and practice intention. So being intentional throughout your days and your life is a number one way to move yourself up in vibration and in dimensional reality. Intention, intention, intention. Put intention into everything you do. Put intention into your day the moment you wake up in the morning. Put intention into your sleep when you go to bed at night. Put intention into every daily thing that you do, such as cooking or preparing food, interacting in your relationships, and doing the work that you do. And the more intentional you are throughout your day, the more you're going to have control of your thoughts and control of your mind. Now, I understand that most of us are not at a point of mastery of thought, myself included. I still have unwanted thoughts. And don't judge yourself or be hard on yourself for that. Just notice when they're happening and then find a technique that works for you to work on your thoughts. Something I've been trying lately, as I've noticed I've been processing some anger. I don't really know where it came from, and it doesn't really matter. It could be that I'm processing it for the earth right now. But when I have an upset thought or an angry thought, and I notice that I'm having this thought, I'll try not to cover it up, because I think it's really important. If it shows up, it's there to be cleansed or to be cleared from my field. So I'll go into that angry thought and I'll actually add something to it. So I want to be careful with my examples here, but if I have a thought about somebody that's a negative thought or an angry thought, instead of trying to wipe it out of my mind, which we know doesn't really work very well, I'll get into it. Oh yeah, I'm really angry about that person and what they did. That was really mean. I'm feeling really grumpy or hateful about that right now. And I'll just get into it and get deeper and deeper into it. I'll add things, to it in my mind. And then I'll get to a turning point where it becomes either silly and ridiculous and makes me laugh, or it might trigger compassion in me. When I go one step too far in my mind and I just added a little too much to the scenario that I'm creating around this anger, then I'll notice a shift where my heart will open up and I'll start to feel compassion, or where I will laugh, and then that will alleviate the feeling. Do you know how the feeling of anger is clenched and tight and like holding in, and there's no openness to it, that angry? And then getting to that point of compassion suddenly opens up, like, oh, okay, that's the release that I was looking for. And I can go backtrack into, oh, I would never want that to happen to that person. And then I can eventually get to, I really love that person, and that person is really an aspect of myself. But you can't always go from anger to love. It's when you're in anger, that tight, clenched, just grumpy space, for someone to say, oh, just go to love. Well, it's like, I'm just not there in that moment. So I have to do something to get that anger. Like, I don't want to squelch it because it's coming up to be cleared, right? So I want to bring it up. I want to allow it to be brought up. I actually don't want to make it wrong. I want to make it right. Oh, I'm feeling anger. Let's get into it. Let's see how angry I can get. Let's see how far I can go with this anger, until I get to that point where, oh, now I went too far. But you know what? That going too far opened up a floodgate. So whatever it is, whatever horrible, angry thought that you're having, make it worse. I know this is not what any of the other teachers are probably telling you, but make it worse. Get into it, allow it, put intention in it. I'm going to be intentional about releasing this anger, or getting to that point, wherever it is, that I can get this out and cleanse it out of my system. And then I release it. If I laugh, if I get to the point, this is just ridiculous. Oh my gosh, I would never do that, but it's really funny that I had that thought. And the laughter breaks up that grumpy feeling. And laughter, you have to be open to laugh. You can't be angry and laugh at the same time. The laughter instantly alleviates the anger and opens it up.